Is it okay to work out 30 minutes after having breakfast of 250 grams of Bulgarian yogurt and 50 grams of butter, or should I wait longer? Or yours?
That's a good question.
Finish
Yeah.
my coffee.
Yeah. I think it depends on your digestive rate. So someone like me would eat that meal half an hour later. Yeah, could probably go to the gym and feel all right. I personally don't like to chance it there. I don't like to think, okay, in half an hour time I'm going to be doing a workout. I might be a bit bloated. I might be a bit congested, that sort of thing. Now, you've picked some very nutrient dense, very anabolic foods here, so it's pretty good pre workout. It's a good idea to have a dairy pre workout, I think. It might help with the hormonal signalling. I'd go by feel, so try it half an hour before. If you seem to think you're a bit bloated, you can't breathe properly, your lungs are a bit congested, then, try it an hour, try it an hour and a half. I think for most people, someone think between maybe an hour and 2 hours is probably good. But some people I know train better fasted, so I don't think there's a rule of thumb, but you should judge your dietary frequency, your patterns by your hunger signals and how you perform in the gym if your goal is to perform well in a gym.
I find it much easier as well to, if I'm training or doing any sort of strenuous exercise, I find it actually easier not to be in an unfed state. Even if I've had, let's say, some food a couple of hours earlier, but just prior to, I sort of, I'm not really into it. It just doesn't sit really well with me. I just feel uncomfortable bending or doing certain things. It just seems like I'm trying to get the body to do too many things at the same time. It's trying to use a whole lot of energy to digest, while at the same time
Yeah.
I'm trying to use energy to do other things. Our tribal people would go out and hunt animals in a fasted state. They would not basically be physically exerting themselves and picking up the animal and carrying it back. So they're in a fasted state before they actually eat. They're more relaxed because you're actually also want the parasympathetic nervous system to be engaged. So when you're digesting better under those circumstances, they used to be around the campfire talking about the day, and just laughing and just having some good conversations in that regard, and be at ease and enjoying the food, and that's what people used to do. There was even in bygone years, people would sit around a table. I've been in rural areas in Greece when I was youngster in the 70s and all that. You just sit around a table. You'd have worked in the morning and all that, picked up stuff, or my auntie had tobacco, and so you'd put it through the machine because it would actually, you stack all the tobacco leaves one on top of the other in certain ways, then run it through the machine, which would just stitch it all together, and then you would hang it so it actually dries in a hothouse. So that's how you actually did it. But after you've done all that for the day, you'd basically sit around in the mid-afternoon and have a really nice hearty meal. You'd have a small snack after you'd come back from the farm. You'd have a little light meal, then get on with it, start doing some of the work, and then you'd sit and enjoy. And I think that's a hell of a lot easier to do, and it would be something light, where if you're going to do a lot of physical work, you really don't want the body to be in that sort of state where it's trying to do too many things. Is
Yeah.
what I think. It's been my
Digestion
experience,
is
I think,
a
Jonathan.
yeah. Digestion's a big one. Like I said, if you're not digesting the food properly, what's the point? You're not utilizing the nutrients that you put in.
Yeah.
And you'll never train maximally if your stomach's full of food. So the digestive rate comes into it a lot. Now this is quite a small meal for a lot of people, 300-gram meal. For me that might be fine, but then for Anika that might be too much. So just trial and error. But it depends on the food source as well. If I
Precisely.
have, for example, steak versus ground beef, that's going to have a different digestive rate as well.
Yeah, precisely. Things that are broken down a bit more will digest a bit faster. So, yeah, that's true. So that's why things like, you could say, like whey will actually go through your system much faster. You know, so it's that probably an hour or half an hour before, yeah, maybe is an option, but I don't think some of the other stuff. The more food, it's just, I think it just complicates and detracts from the training.